It's the way to go. Eat a fig, not a pig, let your kindness show. If it's your wig or a jig or a swig, do you dig? Big. It's the way to go. It's Big Fat Vegan Radio.
When something's fat, there's a lot to show. It's gotta be fat to help the movement grow. Making fat loud chat that won't be flat. It's that. And here's our show. It's Big Fat Vegan Radio.
Got that vegan glow, like a drag queen calling Patrick Goudreau. I'm a YouTube vegan cooking up good eating. Veganism makes me glow. It's Big Fat Vegan Radio.
All right, vegans, all together now. When something's fat, there's a lot to show. It's gotta be fat to help the movement grow. Making fat loud chat that won't be flat. It's that.
It's the way to go.
It's Big Fat Vegan Radio.
Hey everyone, welcome to Big Fat Vegan Radio. We are podcasting from San Francisco and New York City to discuss veganism in all of its glory. I am Ben Strothman, otherwise known as Honey LaBronx, everyone's favorite vegan drag queen. I'm here without Laura Yaz today, vegan writer and entertainment know-it-all. Instead, I am bringing you an interview episode. You can check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube by searching for Big Fat Vegan Radio. Also, maybe Instagram. I think we're on Instagram. Not sure. Anyway, I mean, we are, but, whatever. Anyway, you can follow along with our show notes at bigfatveganradio.com. So, you have probably already heard a lot about the upcoming documentary Cowspiracy. Maybe you've already seen a screening of it that someone has hosted in a town near you. Maybe you are hosting one yourself coming up, and maybe you're not. But if not, that's okay. No worries, because at the end of this episode, we will give you all of the information on how you can either attend a screening in your area or host a screening in your area. From the website cowspiracy.com, this is the film that environmental organizations don't want you to see. Cowspiracy, The Sustainability Secret, is a groundbreaking feature-length environmental documentary following an intrepid filmmaker as he uncovers the most destructive industry facing the planet today and investigates why the world's leading environmental organizations are too afraid to talk about it. This documentary will be as eye-opening as Blackfish and as inspiring as An Inconvenient Truth. And having seen the documentary myself, I can absolutely attest to that. So without further ado, I would love to welcome Kip Andersen to the podcast.
Kip Andersen, welcome to Big Fat Vegan Radio.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Kip, you are the documentary filmmaker of Cowspiracy, the upcoming groundbreaking documentary, which I cannot wait to share with my family and friends, especially back in Wisconsin. It sounds from the movie like you have a pretty interesting journey towards discovering veganism. Could you share a bit about that with us?
Yes, along with watching actually Meet Your Meat a while ago, I also found out about the environmental impacts animal agriculture causes, where essentially it causes nearly every environmental destruction, the leading cause of nearly every environmental destruction known to man of human cause, which is everything from global warming, as climate change, rainforest destruction, water use consumption, water contamination, species extinction. It's pretty much one-stop shop for all these terrible things happening, all with one industry. And when I found this out, I just, the film essentially follows my journey to see if you can rationalize eating animal products while you essentially calling yourself a caring environmentalist.
Well, I mean, that's such an easy badge to wear. The environmentalist, the animal lover. I mean, everyone seems to wear that button, but few people seem to realize just what deep implications that has.
Exactly. And that's what we explore to see. Most people just don't even think about it. And the journey explores if you actually do take a second to think about it.
Yeah.
Or two.
I feel like I went vegan almost 5 years ago this November, and I feel like in the time that I went vegan, I mean, this is just after Earthlings, there have been so many fantastic documentaries in the last 4.5 years. So when I heard about Cowspiracy, a part of me was like, okay, another documentary. But from the name alone, I'm like, it sounds like there's something a little different about this. And having seen the film, it's just so far and away different. It's a completely different approach. If I had people watch Forks Over Knives or Earthlings or Vegucated, I would still insist that they sit down and watch this film. Could you tell us a little bit about what you feel sets this apart, or what people might see in this film that they haven't already seen before?
Well, what this film is really it's an environmental film. It's a film that if you care about the future, whether you care about animals or whether you care about yourself, if the leading cause of all these environmental destruction was say it was eating Twinkies, or it was say some random thing, then it's something that you must watch. And I think that's what resonates with people a lot, is because it just so happens that it's animal agriculture industry, which so happens to be your diet, is the main way that you can control what's happening and make a great impact 3 times a day. Whereas these other things, you'd have to care essentially about your health, or care on an ethical level about animals, where this is caring about the future. And then also another thing is that we just show that the unbelievable facts and things that we find out about this industry. And then the big thing that we do that's different than all the other movies we feel, or most of them, is that it's a narrative. So it follows an actual story, an actual narrative with a start, middle, finish. So it follows my journey, whereas it's just a bunch of information or graphic things thrown at you. It's an entertaining film, which if you've seen it, it's everything where you'll laugh, some cry, some be shocked and blown away by facts. It has the whole gamut of emotions.
Emotions indeed. And I hope this comes as a great compliment on your work. But Kip, your film made me so angry. You absolutely infuriated me. I mean, it's one thing to feel and to be a little shocked, but like, I've been having so many debates recently with non-vegan friends on Facebook who want to chime in. Every time I say, yay, animals, they're like, yeah, but it's my personal choice. It's my personal choice. And, like, watching this film, it's just like, this is not your personal choice. Your personal choice is having such an impact on my world and your world. And I have to say, I'm an uncle 9 times now. And the first thing I think about when I watch this film is, oh my God, what kind of world am I going to leave to my nieces and nephews if I don't do everything I can in this lifetime to put a stop to this?
Yes. And that's a big thing that we have in the film. It's just mentioned really one time in the film, but we call it secondhand eating. Whereas secondhand smoking, it affects your own health. It affects those around you in your own home. But if someone comes to your house and someone's smoking a cigarette, you'd say, hey, can you please leave the house, smoke that somewhere else? But if someone's eating animal products, eating meat or even dairy, you can't say, hey, can you please eat that on another planet? And so what it is that with 7 billion people, it's not like it was even just 50 years ago or 100 years ago when there was 1 billion. We've exploded to 7 billion people. That everything we do affects everyone else. So now we're at the point where, just like you said, yes, what other people's food choices does affect me, just like someone smoking a cigarette in my car affects me as well. So it is to hold everyone accountable that everything, what everyone does affect everyone else. And so we call it secondhand eating, because it affects the entire planet of what you choose to do.
Kip, I think you need to make a bumper sticker that says, hey, could you go eat that on another planet?
Yeah, exactly. Totally.
I had to hold my laughter so I didn't laugh right in the mic when you said that. That's great. There's a lot of things in the film. First off, it's so well done with graphics and animation, because there's numbers, and percentages and statistics, and we tune that out so easily. But when you show, like, yeah, we all thought the leading cause was this, for global warming, for example, we're saying that we thought the leading cause of global warming was, the transportation industry, and we thought that it was, from people, using, the wrong kind of light bulbs, blah, 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 compared to this much animal agriculture. And it's kind of like that moment in An Inconvenient Truth. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of that film. Al Gore made it. But when he like gets on the little crane lift to show how exponentially it's all spiking, every single example of that points to animal agriculture in this film. It's just so staggering, some of the numbers that you give. And there's one that you mentioned, where like 100 years ago, it was like half a billion was the population. 100 years later, it's 1 billion, and 100 years later, it's 7.1 billion. It's just really staggering. It just drives home the point that, like, my God, now is absolutely the time that we have to act on this.
Yes, definitely. We live in a whole nother time where it's even, say your people are for grass-fed beef or the paleo diet. Well, honestly, it actually could work 100 years ago and almost 50 years ago. But it just absolutely does not work at the time we live in. And in a lot of these ways, people think these more sustainable things like, for example, grass-fed beef. If you care about wolves, if you care about wild animals, the wild horses that roam free in this country, they're being pushed out by majority is because of grass-fed beef, because these cows roam on thousands and thousands and thousands of acres surrounded by fences, and cougars can't go in because they'll kill them, and wolves have to be killed in large packs. That's happened in Washington and Idaho and these places. And right now there's more horses in captivity, wild horses in captivity, than there are free in the country, and this is from cattle, and most of it's grass-fed. So they just take up so much land, so much of our resources, and in the time we live in, it just does not work. And the things that we think are more sustainable, like that, are actually more unsustainable for many reasons.
Yeah, people seem to really think that wildlife and Mother Nature can be so compartmentalized, just to churn out whatever kind of a product we want with no ripple effect. There was it was really shocking. I mean, in the film, you interview a lot of environmental organizations, and I'd like to get into that in a bit. But of all the people you've interviewed, some of the responses I was most shocked to hear so candidly were from an actual dairy operation that told you point blank, like, oh, this is not sustainable.
They actually said that, which was amazing. Both the CEO and the farmer themselves, which was pretty amazing. We were not ready for that one.
That had to really shock you, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Is there anything that we did not see in the documentary? Like, did these guys kind of, at a certain point, did some of these people you interviewed kind of side with you a bit? Like, you know what, I really think you're right. I think you have, I appreciate what you're doing.
As far as the environmental groups?
Yeah, that and some of the animal agriculture people that even agreed it wasn't sustainable.
No, not really. The CEO of the organic dairy farm, he was very sympathetic, and he was a very thought-provoking, very honest, and it was pretty interesting to talk to him. He's a very intelligent person. He really enjoyed the questions. It was pretty interesting. Other than him, not really anyone else. Wow. to say the least.
Wow.
None of the environmental groups, that's for sure.
That without giving away too much of the film, you sat down with a lot of the leading environmental organizations that all basically agree that we are out to tackle global warming, and they seem completely unaware that animal agriculture even factors into it. Greenpeace obviously not even doing an interview with you, not getting back to you on it. Have you had any kind of a backlash? Is Greenpeace like, is this the new Blackfish to SeaWorld? In a sense, is Greenpeace giving you any kind of a response, or have any of the other environmental groups given any kind of a response about this film, or maybe changed their stance now that this is about to come out?
We've seen some great things happen already in just a short amount of time. It's only been, a month that we've really released it. Already seeing really great changes, strides. Well, for one, Greenpeace has not done anything. We haven't heard a peep from them. But Rainforest Action Network is doing a big campaign on Facebook. We'll see how long it lasts. Directly as a result, we've heard from insiders, directly from the film. And people are having meetings on what to do to prepare for this film proactively. And hats off to Rainforest Action Network for doing so. They have this Facebook campaign for about every 3 or 4 days. they put a new staggering fact about how animal agriculture is destroying the planet, and to adopt a plant-based diet. I wonder if they are internally doing that. I know they don't purchase with their own funds when they have, when they go on lunch and outings. So that's a good change. But the one thing is they actually haven't mentioned in any of their posts about rainforest destruction in animal agriculture, which is really interesting. They've shown all these other facts, but you think the one that they'd focus on is the rainforest. They still haven't done that. But that's good that they're doing it, and I feel it's a matter of time before the other ones do it. Greenpeace and Sierra Club, before they make it one of their main leading focuses. If not, they need to be essentially the laughing stock, because if they're not doing it, I feel these groups are doing more harm than good, because it's diverting the attention of what's really going on. It's like if your house is burning and someone is diverting you from, a leaky faucet or a little brush fire in a corner or this and that. Meanwhile, there's a huge raging bonfire in the middle of the house. That's actually doing, I feel, more harm than good, because it's diverting from the real cause that's doing the most destruction.
Yeah.
But it's happening, though. We feel all these organizations are following suit soon.
And the film definitely answers this question, but if you could give our listeners some of an idea, so why isn't Greenpeace talking about this? Why are other organizations not talking about this?
Why aren't they? It's manifold. We get that question asked a lot. It's everything from, for example, Sierra Club. When we interview them, the head of Sierra Club, who we interview, he talks about how he eats grass-fed beef. He eats as what he thinks is sustainable, meat and animal products. So part of it's ignorance and part of it's addiction. A lot of these organizations, a couple of another one, another rainforest group, when we came in to interview during lunch, they're actually ordering carne asada burritos and chicken burritos. I mean, we just could not believe it. So whether that's ignorance or they know, and it's just, people are just so addicted to animal products, it's an addiction. And then you go to alienating your supporters, and not only your supporters, the thousands or sometimes millions. Some of these organizations have your core, 20 to 50 to 100 core supporters that give them upwards of $1 million a year or more, and they don't want to. I feel don't want to alienate them, because maybe those supporters eat animal products too, and if they say, all of a sudden we're adopting a plant-based diet, they'll say, well, I need to find another organization because I can't do that. It's easy for me to give my millions of dollars, but, lo and behold, I actually have to do something. And so a lot of these groups, a lot of the supporters, a lot of people who think they're environmentalists, it's easy for them to do something that doesn't take a big effort out of them, whether it's money or you drive the car less, this or that. But when you talk about changing the actual daily lifestyle of eating habits, which is the most habitual, addictive thing, no matter what it is, it's something we do 3 times a day, then it's tough. And I think that's a big reason why they don't do this publicly, because they feel they'll alienate their supporters, and then amongst themselves, they would have to start themselves. You can't tell someone to stop smoking if you're a smoker, So it's a lot. It's many different things all combined into one. That's why it's so embedded.
That runs really deep, and I just hear a challenge in that. I don't hear impossible. It's just we're just going to have to find another. We'll have to find creative solutions, but. There's also in the film. There's one of the most poignant moments for me, and I apologize. I don't have my notes, so I forget which. For the listeners, my notes got deleted. You can't trust your iPhone. But there's a woman. I forget which organization, but you're interviewing her, and finally you're just like, look, why is everyone so afraid to talk about it? And just you can just feel time stand still, and she's kind of like, look. This is what happens to people who speak out. Could you tell us a little bit about that moment and, some of the other fear that some people have about speaking out? And if you could possibly tell us a bit about, and I don't have her name, but there's the nun that lived in the rainforest and a bit about her story.
Yeah, Dorothy Stang. Dorothy Stang was this beautiful American nun living in the Brazilian Amazon rainforest, and she spoke out for many years, I think decades, about what was happening down there. and eventually she got gunned down by someone that was affiliated with the animal agriculture industry, with the cattle industry. And there's an interesting documentary on her. I can't remember what it's titled, but if you look up documentary and Dorothy Stang, I saw it actually on instant Netflix after I found out about it. It's pretty interesting. It follows the legal ramifications, essentially the trial of the people who murdered her. And so there's around over 1,100 activists that have been killed in the rainforest that have been activists for the rainforest. Not all of them for cattle, but 1,100 of them have been killed. And a lot of them, majority of them, are for speaking out against the cattle industry. It's such a powerful industry.
Yeah.
So that's what the people from the Amazon Watch was talking about. And then just the industry altogether, for whether it's legally, Howard Lyman was sued along with Oprah Winfrey by the Cattlemen's Association for speaking the truth about when the mad cow disease outbreak was happening. And nowadays, though, if you speak the truth, whether it's true or not, whether it's true even, back then it had to be, if you're speaking falsely against it, then you'd be found illegal. Nowadays, even if you're speaking the truth and somehow certain actions will cause a loss in the profits of the animal agriculture industry, you could be found guilty under the Patriot Act. When that's something that's a small loophole that Howard Lyman talks about. And so it's just such a humongous industry, such a powerful industry, one of the biggest along the big oil, that, some people are afraid to talk about it, whether it's, financially or personally or whatever. But it's one of those things that the global fear of that's happening to our planet needs to supersede any individual fear, because if none of us do anything, we're not going to be around to enjoy a planet anyway. So what is the point? We all have to stick together, and we have to join forces and to spread the truth and to make radical change, and that means with essentially our diets, and to share the truth of what is happening.
Yeah. I heard someone saying it today. They were saying something about if they had to choose their own health and well-being over being vegan, they would still choose being vegan because they recognize that this is about something bigger than themselves.
Yes.
And you're really, a leading example of that. I mean, I have to say, you are in the film. We see you. We see your face. We see your name. At the same time as that we're talking about, Sister Dorothy, do you have any fears yourself about some backlash from making this film?
No, at the time we did, because it's Keegan as well. It's both of us doing it. At the time, we really did. After interviewing Howard Lyman, it was scary. It was really scary. If you see the whole interview, we will release it sometime. We actually asked him when we release this, should we move to Cuba or where should we go to? And it was serious. And then also Will Potter, it's scary stuff. But Will Potter's a great example of doing what needs to be done. And again, the fear, and it's truthful how it's portrayed in the film of what I go through of almost putting the camera down, and then realizing, again, it says it's me, but it's really both Keegan and I were worried. But then realizing it's something that just has to be done, because the global fear of what's happening, the global necessity of what needs to be done is so much bigger than any one individual. And we really feel after, it's been about 6 months since we've been had that interview, editing, processing things, that we really honestly don't feel anything will happen, repercussions, because if it did, it would just come back tenfold of exposing the truth that much faster to what is really happening. It just makes that much bigger of a story and shows that we were kind of saying this was going to happen. And that's one of the reasons why we put it in there, honestly, is to almost, in a way, to protect ourselves, that they're not going to do anything, because it'll just create such a huge story that they don't want that,
Yeah.
So I really don't feel any fear. I really don't. And just something that has to be done regardless. So that supersedes everything.
Well said and well played. So this movie, first off, how can people see this?
Well, people can see it if you go to our website, Cowspiracy.com, or go to we have a good Facebook page, a very active one. If you go to the top of our website, Cowspiracy.com. It says attend a screening or host a screening, and it's this really cool grassroots platform. We've had offers from distribution, but right now we've had so much success with this grassroots distribution where people can organize screenings at real theaters for zero money down, no risk whatsoever. All they have to do is pick the theater near them, and you have to sell a certain amount of tickets, and gets to that point 2 weeks before the actual screening time, and then it becomes official. If it doesn't make it, it just gets canceled. And so we have around 100 screenings all around the country. So there's a good chance there'll be a screening near you, and if not, there's not, then host a screening. It's this cool platform called tugg.com, Tugg.com, and follow us on our newsletter, on our website, and come November, we will have the DVDs for release, and you'll be able to download it on our website and on, which you can actually pre-order DVDs already on our website. So go to our website, and there's a good chance there'll be a screening near you or to host one. People have had a lot of fun and a lot of success creating a great community by putting these events on all around the country.
Oh, that's that's my vegans. That's my vegan community. You know, since people have started seeing this film, you know, any sort of changes, anything that you've seen that shows you, yeah, this is starting to take hold?
Yeah, it's starting to take hold. For example, that Rainforest Section Network, how they're putting posts up already. People all around the world, really, right when they see it, just saying all these amazing stories of they show their parents, they show this, and it just seems a percentage compared to, I'm sure Earthlings had somewhat of a similar effect, but I feel this is more reachable to the everyday person. You know, Earthlings is one of those, a lot of people I know, my friends who aren't vegetarian, they're scared to watch it, like, oh, I don't want to watch that. Where this is an environmental film. And so we've just seen all these great stories of transformation within their family and their friends. And then also with already these environmental organizations, things are already starting to transform within themselves, and they're starting to do new things. And even the beef industry, there's their biggest online magazine called beefmagazine.com, I believe it's called.
Yeah.
Rather than bash the film, all they did is give a review that's saying, warning the ranchers that this movie is coming out, so that this movie is going to be a big game changer that it already is. So there's all these signs that this whole shift and this whole conscious shift to this next stage of really evolution and transformation that needed to happen is already happening. It's such a fast pace. So it's really inspiring.
Wow. That just reminds me of one last thing. It reminds me of a moment in the film where you're talking to this like organic dairy farmer, and he's like, wow, you know, they can do so much with the soybean nowadays. And it showed me this little spark of maybe if these industries want to really get the jump on where the future is heading, they could maybe just sort of, you know, convert their operations, and I know that's easier said than done, but to sort of switch things to the direction in which the future is going.
Yeah, definitely. It takes everyone to do it. You know, it takes everyone to do it as a community all together, helping everyone out, even helping the ranchers. Because it's tough for them. My family comes from a family of ranchers, and you know, we showed it in Idaho, and they said, "Well, what can we do if this needs to be done? What can we do?" And it takes a community, but it's, you know, U.S. has already been through many big transformations from going in the South from slavery to none. A lot of people didn't think that was possible, and just so many things that have happened that are big transformations within an entire society. And this is the next one. So just helping really everyone out do this together and make it happen.
That is fantastic. Well, Kip, the film and you give me a lot of hope. I really appreciate everything that you're doing right now for the animals and for my 9 nieces and nephews in the future that they're going to have.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ben, and thank you for doing what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you. We're going to make sure that we get the information out to our listeners so that you guys listening can contact Cowspiracy through Facebook or their website to host a screening of the film wherever you are, because I'm sure that you are salivating right now to show this to your friends and family. And we'll make sure to have all the other information in the show notes. And Kip, thank you so much for sharing your time with us, and thanks to Keegan as well.
Well, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks again.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you again to Kip Andersen and Keegan Kuhn, both of Cowspiracy, The Sustainability Secret. We will be including lots of links in our show notes, so you can check out their website, which is cowspiracy.com. Also, you can check out their Facebook page, facebook.com/Cowspiracy movie. And yeah, it would be awesome if you could, if you haven't seen the film yet, check out to see if there is a screening in your area, or if not, then by all means, get in touch so that you can host one in your area. By all means, please get in touch with Big Fat Vegan Radio through our Facebook page and let us know where you are hosting a screening so that we can help spread the word. Aside from that, just a few housekeeping notes as always. If you guys would like to contact us, you can always reach out and drop us a message. Our bigfatveganradio.com. All of our contact info is there. You can call us at 315-VEGAN-01. That's 315-834-2601. You can email us at bigfatveganradio@gmail.com. Tweet us at bigfatvegans. We're on YouTube. Just look for Big Fat Vegan Radio, and also on Facebook. Just to remind you guys, we are still in the middle of our fundraiser episode until September 15th. So if you donate now to Big Fat Vegan Radio, any amount, even $1, you will get awesome. Yeah, there you go. You'll get awesome discount codes for some awesome vegan companies online to get some really cool perks. And as always, you can sign up for a Big Fat Vegan membership and get access to our secret shows, our Google Hangouts, and our movie nights. There are also some other ways to help support the podcast, some that don't even cost anything. And you can check those out by clicking on Support Us at bigfatveganradio.com. We also now have posters. You can download and print out color or black and white posters and post those up all around town at coffee shops and vegan and hippie and lesbian places, you know, wherever vegans congregate. And yeah, that really helps us spread the word. So if you like us, tell your friends about us. And also, don't underestimate the donate my account or donateyouraccount.com. If you can donate your Facebook and Twitter to us, basically it gives us permission to retweet or repost things from our Facebook page through your account on a weekly or daily or monthly basis. And it's free and you can cancel whenever you want. And it really helps us. So that's also listed at Support Us. And lastly, we have added a merch page on our website. For now, we just have t-shirts, but we have t-shirts. So holy crap, you guys. Be the first to get a Big Fat Vegan Radio t-shirt because we only have a limited supply for now. So they're going to go pretty fast because we don't have a whole lot of them. So if you are waiting, don't wait because pretty soon you're going to walk down the street and see someone else wearing one and you are going to be super jelly. Jelly means jealous for those of you who are hungry and thinking about PB&J right now. So other than that, you can follow Laura and myself on Twitter and Instagram. Laura is at Lara Yaz. I am at Honey LaBronx. Please check out Laura's 3 minutes about a movie. You can check out her other YouTube videos, youtube.com/Lara Yaz. You can check out Honey LaBronx's vegan drag queen cooking show at vegandragqueen.com. And as always, you can buy some of my famous medieval oil at medievaloil.com. I have just created, now I don't know where I put them, I'm looking around my room for them right now. I've just created some new business cards that list all 80 uses for medieval oil. So if you, next time you order medieval oil from me, you will see an awesome card that lists all the different ways that you can use it. So I will just list one random medieval oil use for today. Boom. Let's bring animals back into this. You can treat pet injuries. Just apply a drop to the affected area. So if your pet has a little boo-boo, you might just take a little drop and rub it on there. But I'm not a doctor and I'm not a vet, so there's that. So, yeah, that's medievaloil.com. Some shout outs as always to Michael Harren for our awesome theme song and to Kelly Huffine for our awesome logo and artwork. You can check out Michael at michaelharren.com, and Kelly is kelly42fox.deviantart.com. And as always, what would we do without Madison Marie, our wonderful, lovely intern? One of you recently contacted us about seeing if we needed another intern, and I think our intern could use an intern as we start wildly branching out. So if I didn't get back in touch with you yet, feel free to drop us a line. And Madison, we're getting you an intern. How awesome. So other than that, that's just about it. Right now, just to give you a quick reminder, you can come and check out Honey LaBronx doing vegan karaoke the last Monday of each month. While it lasts, this is by attendance only, you guys. So if people don't come, I'm probably not going to be able to do it much longer. So if you're in the New York City area or planning on coming to the New York City area, please come on down and check that out. And also, I have a new Wednesday night drag show. Myself and my drag sister, Miz Cracker, are now hosting TITTIES! I just love the sound of it. So you can come to TITTIES on Wednesday night at R Bar at 218 Bowery. That's every Wednesday night at 9 o'clock, except for the first Wednesday of each month. The first Wednesday of each month, we are off. So if you're in the New York area, either come to TITTIES and see me and Miz Cracker, or come to vegan karaoke at Baby Grand. Just like Catherine Asher, Canada's very own Catherine Asher, came all the way from Canada one night to come check out vegan karaoke. So be like Catherine and be all badass about your veganism. Also, I apologize. I realize you can completely hear me clicking on my laptop throughout this entire episode, and I really hate when I can hear that on podcasts. So I apologize. All right, I'm note taking and what's not. So there you have it. Also, I apologize. During the interview, I believed that I would die if I did not leave my air conditioner running in the background, and I'm not in my new apartment yet, so this room is just too small to not run the AC for more than 30 seconds. Otherwise, suddenly it gets sweltering hot. So I apologize for the audio issues. Anyway, that is all we've got for you for this episode of Big Fat Vegan Radio. Please subscribe to us through iTunes or your podcatcher of choice. It's extra helpful if you can give us an awesome rating and a glowing review on iTunes. And be sure to let us know what you thought of this episode on our Facebook page. Send us a tweet, leave us a voicemail, or leave us a comment at bigfatveganradio.com. We always love hearing from you guys. So, oh shoot, there was one. Okay. I'm going to personally beg each and every one of you to either find a Cowspiracy screening in your area, and if there isn't one, I'm going to challenge each and every one of you to host a Cowspiracy screening in your area. So that should be a pretty easy job, right? I mean, if there is already one in your area, you can just go see it. And if not, then you can host it and everyone else will come and see yours. So I would like you to do that. And I would like to challenge you to do just one more thing. You know, it's not a big thing, but it's an awesome thing. I mean, if you have time, if you're not too busy, you know, not right now, you don't have to do it immediately, but like when you get a chance, if you could get around to it, go vegan!